Hello, I'm Kyle, and welcome back to Bedtime Verses with Kyle. Just a little poetry to help you get ready for bed. And look at this, we're painted, aren't we fancy? Yes, also, what's the other thing I have to tell you? Be sure to follow me here on YouTube, right? And be sure to give me a follow on YouTube at the Kyle Derrick. Okay, today we have a fellow named Thomas Jordan from 1612, maybe, to 1685, so he seems to have had a nice long life. This is called The Epicures, sung by one in the habit of a town gallant. Now, this one I actually like. Here we go. A good party piece. Let us drink and be merry, dance, joke, and rejoice, with claret and sherry, theorbo and voice. The changeable world to our joy is unjust, all treasure uncertain, then down with your dust. In frolic dispose your pounds, shillings, and pence, for we shall be nothing 100 years hence. I like this rhythm. Ba, 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 ba. We'll kiss and be free with Nan, Betty, and Philly, have oysters and lobsters and maids by the belly. Fish dinners will make a last spring like a flea. Dame Venus, love's goddess, was born of the sea. With her and with Bacchus we'll tickle the sense, for we shall be past it 100 years hence. Your most beautiful bit that hath all eyes upon her, that her honesty sells for a hogo of honor. That's funny. Whose likeness, a hogo is like a tiny, it's like a flavor. It can also be used to describe odor, by the way. Okay, we got some pounding going up here. Okay, your most beautiful bit that hath all eyes upon her, that her honesty sells for a hogo of honor, whose lightness and brightness doth shine in such splendor, that none but the stars are thought fit to attend her. Though now she be pleasant and sweet to the sense, will be damnably mouldy 100 years hence. Then why should we turmoil in cares and in fears, turn all our tranquility to sighs and to tears? Let's eat, drink, and play till the worms do corrupt us. 'Tis certain that post mortem nulla voluptas, which is, there's no pleasures after death. Let's deal with our damsels that we may from thence have brutes to succeed 100 years hence. This is one of my favorites, actually, so far. That's nice. Clever. The rhyme scheme is great. The rhythm is... Yeah, it's a sexy. I don't need to say much more about that, I think. Today, we have Richard Crashaw. You may or may not hear Noah's flood happening upstairs. Well, you know, it's bedtime. People are having baths. Richard Crashaw, maybe 1612 to 1649. Oh, this fellow was not around a long time. So we have two pieces. The first is The Flaming Heart upon the book and picture of the seraphical Saint Teresa, like a seraphim, angelic. So he's into this Saint Teresa. And then an epitaph upon a husband and wife who died and were buried together. So one with religious fervor and another with reflections on the mortal dust, the ephemeral. Okay. Let's get to it. The Flaming Heart, etc. O thou undaunted daughter of desires, by all thy dower of lights and fires, by all the eagle in thee, all the dove, by all the lives and deaths of love, by thy large draughts of intellectual day, and by thy thirsts of love more large than they, by all the brim-filled bowls of fierce desire, by thy last morning's draught of liquid fire, by the full kingdom of that final kiss that seized thy parting soul and sealed thee his, by all the heavens thou hast in him, fair sister of the seraphim, by all of him we have in thee. Leave nothing of myself in me. Let me so read thy life that I unto all life of mine may die. So once again, my laziness has gotten the better of me, and I have no idea what the story of Saint Teresa is, but if we do some retroactive investigation work, she kissed someone. She kissed someone, and was it Jesus? I don't think so. Was there a was Teresa? No. Must be something else. Anyway, someone will know. Just let the rest of us know. Okay, Saint Teresa, great. Now let's do this epitaph. This is a sad one, but it's very beautiful. To these whom death again did wed, this grave's the second marriage bed. For though the hand of fate could force twixt soul and body a divorce, it could not sever man and wife, because they both lived but one life. Peace, good reader, do not weep. Peace, the lovers are asleep. They, sweet turtles, folded lie in the last knot that love could tie. Let them sleep on, till this stormy night be gone, and the eternal morrow dawn. Then the curtains will be drawn, and they wake into a light, whose day shall never die in night. Oh, if only it were true! That's very sweet. That's very sweet. Don't be sad for them. They're gone to a better place where they'll be forever day. Wouldn't that be nice? And also, check me out as Drago on Bakugan, which is dropped on Netflix. Okay, today we have a new poet, Samuel Butler, 1613 to 1680. And we have a few excerpts, one today and then another tomorrow, from his piece called Hudibras, which I don't know, but I want to get involved in because this looks fun. So it seems like a little bit of a mockery of the medieval adventure. So he starts with Presbyterian Night. When civil fury first grew high, and men fell out they knew not why, when hard words, jealousies, and fears set folks together by the ears, and made them fight like mad or drunk, for Dame Religion as for punk, whose honesty they all durst swear for, though not a man of them knew wherefore. When gospel trumpeters surrounded with long-eared rout to battle sounded, and pulpit drum ecclesiastic was beat with fist instead of a stick, then did Sir Knight abandon dwelling, and out he rode a colonelling. So, colonel is how it's spelled. It's pronounced colonel now, but it used to be colonel. Ecclesiastic of a stick doesn't rhyme, but otherwise we're in pretty good shape. So let's continue. Presbyterian Night. For his religion it was fit to match his learning and his wit. 'Twas Presbyterian true blue, for he was of that stubborn crew of errant saints, whom all men grant to be the true church militant, such as do build their faith upon the holy text of pike and gun, decided all controversies by infallible artillery, and prove their doctrine orthodox by apostolic blows and knocks, call fire and sword and desolation a godly thorough reformation, which always must be carried on, and still be doing never done. It sounds like military orders with religious fervor. As if religion were intended for nothing else but to be mended. A sect whose chief devotion lies in odd, perverse antipathies, in falling out with that or this, and finding somewhat still amiss, more peevish, cross, and splenetic, than dog distract or monkey sick, that with more care keep holy day the wrong, than others the right way, compound for sins they are inclined to, by damning those they have no mind to, still so perverse and opposite, as if they worshipped God for spite. The self-same thing they will abhor one way, and long another for. Free will they one way disavow, another nothing else allow. All piety consists therein, in them, in other men all sin. Rather than fail, they will defy that which they love most tenderly, quarrel with minced pies, and disparage their best and dearest friend, plum porridge. Fat pig and goose itself oppose, and blaspheme custard through the nose. The apostles of this fierce religion, like Mahomet's, were ass and widgeon, to whom our knight by fast instinct of wit and temper was so linked, as if hypocrisy and nonsense had got the advison of his conscience. Advison, here's a word I'll have to look up. Where's my pencil? So we're back with Samuel Butler from Hudibras. And we have another piece here called Independent Squire. Okay, so he talks about, presumably, the squire of the Presbyterian Knight, who we covered yesterday, who just likes to fight all the time in the name of religion. I can't say that doesn't sound familiar. Okay, Independent Squire. A squire he had, whose name was Ralph, that in the adventure went his half. The writers, for more stately tone, do call him Ralpho. 'Tis all one, and when we can with metre safe, we'll call him so, if not plain Rafe. Ralph Rafe. His knowledge was not far behind the knight's, but of another kind, and he another way came by it. Some call it gifts, and some new light, a liberal art that costs no pains of study, industry, or brains. His wits were sent him for a token, but in the carriage cracked and broken, like commendation ninepence crooked, with to and from my love it looked. I guess you could say. Yeah. Like commendation ninepence crooked, with to and love my love. With to and from my love it looked. Crooked looked. Funny. He ne'er considered it as loth to look a gift horse in the mouth, and very wisely would lay forth no more upon it than was worth. But as he got it freely, so he spent it frank and freely too. For saints themselves will sometimes be of gifts that cost them nothing free. By means of this, with hem and cough, prolongers to enlighten snuff, he could deep mysteries unriddle, as easily as thread a needle. For as the vagabonds we say, that they are ne'er beside their way, whatever men speak by this new light, still they are sure to be in the right, which none see by but those that bear it. A light that falls down from on high, for spiritual trades to cozen by, an ignis fatuus that bewitches, and leads men into pools and ditches, to make them dip themselves and sound for Christendom in dirty pond, to dive like wildfowl for salvation, and fish to catch regeneration. This light inspires and plays upon the nose of saint-like bagpipe drone, and speaks through hollow empty soul, as through a trunk or whispering hole, such language as no mortal ear by spiritual eavesdroppers can hear. So, the squire has his own kind of religion, and it's the new kind, and only he possesses that wisdom. I guess it's that commentary that the unwashed masses are overstepping their boundaries. Isn't it true? Oh, wait, there's still a few more lines. Whoops! So I left them spiritual eavesdroppers can hear. So Phoebus or some friendly muse into small poet's song infuse, which they at second-hand rehearse through reed or bagpipe, verse for verse. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so I guess it's one of those unwashed people overstepping their boundaries. Good for you, independent squire. Independent squire, that's funny. Basically, putting on airs, right? He's, everyone's an expert. And don't forget to grab The Blessed on Amazon, a full-length, novel-length, what am I saying? A novel-length epic poem, rhyme scheme A-B-A-B-C-C, and the rhymes are perfect because I slaved over them. They're perfect. It's a story of adventure and discovery and swords and magic. And great heartbreak and great triumph. Yes. And today is Flip to Friday. Let's see what we have. Let's go deep. The tragedy of Coriolanus. Oh, yes! I mean, we've done a piece on Coriolanus before. Wait, haven't I? Have we done other pieces? Oh, okay, look, I skipped to a good part here. If we've already done this, whatever. No one's watched all the videos, who knows? Act 4, Scene 7. Coriolanus. Coriolanus has been kicked out of Rome. And he's joined his greatest enemy, Aufidius. And now Aufidius' lieutenant is saying, oh, everyone thinks Coriolanus is cooler than you. And Aufidius says, okay. So they're getting Coriolanus to sack Rome on behalf of the Volsces. Be thou sure. Let's see, so he thinks it's not less apparent to the Lord right. He bears all things fairly and should seek his fortunes. I strike on eye. As draw his sword, yet he hath left undone that which shall break his neck or has it mine. Sir, says the lieutenant, I beseech you, think you he'll carry Rome? All places yield to him ere he sits down, and the nobility of Rome are his. The senators and patricians love him too. The tribunes are no soldiers, and their people will be as rash in the repeal as hasty to expel him thence. I think he'll be to Rome, as is the osprey to the fish, who takes it by sovereignty of nature. First, he was a noble servant to them, but he could not carry his honours even, whether 'twas pride, which out of daily fortune ever taints the happy man, whether defect of judgment to fail in the disposing of those chances which he was lord of, or whether nature not to be other than one thing, not moving from the cask to the cushion, but commanding peace, even with the same austerity and garb as he controlled the war, but one of these, as he hath spices of them all, not all, for I dare say so far free him, made him feared, so hated and so banished, but he has a merit to choke it in the utterance. So our virtues lie in the interpretation of the time, and power, unto itself most commendable, hath not a tomb so evident as a chair to extol what it hath done. One fire drives out one fire, one nail, rights by rights falter, strengths by strengths do fail. Come, that's away. When Caius, Rome is thine, thou art poorest of all, then shortly art thou mine. Woo! This is actually a pretty good passage. You know, he's saying people are fickle, everyone loves him, and it's like, I mean, the best line is the osprey takes the fish by nature. It's in him to dominate. And he has some, so our virtues lie in the interpretation of the time. Isn't that true? Right? Certain traits are preferred depending on what the world needs in a way. I mean, right now, or at least when I was growing up, you know, through the 60s and 70s. No, I wasn't there, okay. But like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, like being outspoken, like speaking your mind, taking no guff, that was the thing that everybody wanted. That was like the cool thing to do. And now it's quite different, actually. Now it's don't speak your mind, you know, be cautious, very, very, very cautious of everybody's feelings to the point of self-censorship. So now there's a different game afoot, although I think naturally every person wants to be able to speak freely. I think that's the best goal. But yes, lie the turn in time, and power unto itself most commendable hath not a tomb so evident as a chair to extol what it hath done. That is, yeah, that is not a great line, actually, because it starts off so good in power, in the utterance, the power unto itself most commendable, hath not a tomb so evident, and then it's like, as a chair to extol, which is to praise what it hath done. A chair to praise itself? The note says, fall into oblivion unless it receives praise from the public. That's it's pretty far-fetched. Yeah, so even sometimes Shakespeare misses the mark. Like, that was a good setup. But then he says, one fire drives out one fire, one nail, one nail. That's good. One fire drives out one fire, one nail, one nail. Rights by rights falter, strength. Rights by rights falter, strengths by strengths do fail. Yeah, that's great. Cyclical. Cyclical. Anyway, thanks again for joining me for Bedtime Verses with Kyle. You can follow me here. Please subscribe to my YouTube at The Kyle Derrick. Get The Blessed, the story of adventure written in poetry, which hasn't been done in a long time, actually, and not like this, probably a few hundred years. So that's something, isn't it? And there'll be new readings every weekday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night. Sleep tight.